Good morning, class. Today we're going to continue learning about the Progressive Era, and we're going to focus on the presidents of the Progressive Era. This is a time period between 1900 and the 1930s. So, President William McKinley was assassinated, and his vice president, Theodore Roosevelt, took office in 1901, bringing progressive ideas with him. Roosevelt supported regulation of business and other progressive reforms. He brought legal charges against trusts in the beef, oil, tobacco, and railroad companies during his time as a trust buster. Remember that trusts are big businesses and corporations that were formed together. And he wanted to bust those up and prevent those from happening. So in 1902, the nation faced a major labor crisis when more than 100,000 United Mine Workers went on strike for better pay and an 8-hour workday with recognition of their union rights. The strike dragged on for months, and President Roosevelt had to step in and attempt to resolve the dispute between the union and the owners. The union members agreed, but the owners refused, and after Roosevelt threatened to send in federal troops to do the work in the mines, the owners finally agreed on neutral terms. Usually, presidents would use troops against strikers, but this was the first time when a president forced the owners to negotiate. Roosevelt ran for president in 1904, easily winning on his promise of the Square Deal, which called for fair and equal treatment for all and government regulation in business. Previous presidents had favored a laissez-faire policy where government had little interference in business affairs. In addition, Roosevelt had a lifelong interest in the great outdoors, and he believed in the need for conservation, which was the protection and preservation of natural resources. Roosevelt took steps to conserve forests and water resources, becoming the first environmental president. After Roosevelt left office, President William Taft would take office in 1908, with Roosevelt thinking that Taft would carry on the progressive agenda. Taft did just that by continuing to win more antitrust cases and new safety standards for mines and railroads. However, Taft did not meet all of the conservation needs that Roosevelt did, and he also failed to fight for lower tariffs. Roosevelt was so disappointed in Taft that he challenged him in the 1912 election, forming his own political party called the Progressive Party. With the Republican vote split between Taft and Roosevelt, Democrat Woodrow Wilson won the election in a landslide. As president, Wilson lowered tariffs, passed the Federal Reserve Act to regulate banking, established the Federal Trade Commission, and supported the Clayton Antitrust Act of 1914. Under Wilson, the government strengthened its power and control over business significantly.